The man overseeing the genocide in Gaza is being hosted in Washington, D.C. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant met with officials at the White House this week to discuss the ongoing war. And coinciding with his visit, the Washington Post published the latest accounting of all the war materials the U.S. has provided to Israel since the campaign against Gaza began last October. We're talking $6.5 billion worth of weapons and military assistance, almost half of which was distributed just last month, after it was already well established what the Israeli military is doing with all those weapons, murdering tens of thousands of civilians. An administration official described the weapons assistance as a, quote, massive undertaking. Post reported that during the White House meetings with Gallant this week, quote, U.S. arms transfer experts went through hundreds of separate items with counterparts accompanying Gallant on his 4-day visit in order to assure the minister that there are no bottlenecks or restrictions on the flow of weaponry, as was claimed recently by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. You would think that at a time when international courts are investigating war crimes and genocide allegations against the Israeli government, the U.S. would be reluctant to boast about all the assistance it's provided to the Israeli government to carry out these atrocities. The Biden administration is more concerned with appeasing Netanyahu than with ever facing any international sanction for complicity in crimes against humanity. Meanwhile, the U.S. military's dysfunctional aid pier in Gaza is reportedly back in operation, but the meager amounts of food it's bringing ashore aren't reaching Palestinians who need it. That's because aid workers fear that the Israeli military will bomb them when they attempt to collect and distribute the items. Relief workers have frequently been targeted by Israeli airstrikes in the enclave, forcing organizations to suspend operations. Another issue is the fallout from the Israeli hostage rescue mission earlier this month that involved the killing of hundreds of Palestinians. During that operation, Israeli soldiers disguised themselves in an aid truck. This is from Politico. Quote, aid groups, including the World Food Program, the UN group charged with distributing the aid from the pier, have stopped traveling to the beach to pick up the aid, in part because of the fallout of a deadly Israeli hostage operation June 8th. The Israeli Defense Forces used a truck that bore the appearance of an aid vehicle, but did not have an aid group insignia, to travel inside Gaza to rescue the 4 from the Nuseirat refugee camp in the central part of the enclave. The raid set off a fierce firefight between Hamas and the IDF, killing hundreds of civilians. Now, aid staffers fear they will be targeted. And so pallets of aid are just piling up on the beach, spoiling. Fantastic work all around, guys. Any other ideas to make the situation even worse than it already is? At least 4 Palestinian children are reported to have died of hunger this week, adding to the dozens who have already succumbed from malnutrition since October. But Biden still has a chance to save face here by ordering Yoav Gallant arrested and sent to The Hague. Of course, Biden would have to arrest himself too. There's just too much blood on his hands at this point to escape accountability. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our new videos. Also, if you want to see Means Morning News in its complete form, not just the clips we post here, head on over to Means TV and get access to all our new episodes and our entire backlog, plus tons of other great movies and original TV shows.